Hey there, it's Perry with PapercraftingThreads. Thanks for joining me. Today, I have an easy, fun fold alternative for the May 2026 Sparkling Celebrations Paper Pumpkin Kit. So let's get started.
I have one of the card bases from the kit. I'm going to cut it in half first. Save this for another card. Then cutting it down to 4 inches by 4 inches. One of the envelopes from the kit, I'm going to cut it so that I can lay it open flat and treat it just like a piece of patterned paper. So just trim off those sides. And then I want to have this edge be flat. So trimming off that. And making this a squared up edge. And then I need a piece that's 1 inch wide. Save this for another card by 4 inches long. I have a piece of basic white that measures 4 inches by 4 inches. And I have a piece of Coastal Cabana that measures 4 1/4 inches by 11 inches. And scoring this at 4 1/4 and at 5 1/2. Then I'm going to fold my score lines just so I can see where they're at better. And this one's going to fold as a valley fold. So this is the front of my card. Placing the top right corner in the track and this bottom corner in the track. So swivel until they're both in the track. Putting my score blade in the middle and scoring. And these two pieces, using Versamark ink and the little star or sparkle, and silver embossing powder, and then doing more of that at an angle across this corner. I cannot see where I'm stamping it, so I'm doing one row that way, then adding my embossing powder, so I can see where that is. Then going back in, doing another row, and adding more powder. And finishing it off. I'm not worrying about any excess powder on there. Any little extra sparkle will be welcome in this project. And heat set. If your paper curls too much for your liking, you can always put the heat on the bottom. And set those aside. Then I have this piece and a piece of white baker's twine from a previous kit. And this is a little thick for what I want to use it for, so I'm going to separate it into a double strand. Or actually a single strand, I think. And then straighten it a little bit so it's not quite so curvy. Put some curve in it, so I'm using this to stretch that a little bit gently so I don't tear it apart. And then I have the light from the kit, some dimensionals, placing one up here and one there, and then using a bit of tear and tape, just a tiny little bit, putting that right here. Peeling off that backing and placing this here. And then just for good measure to make sure it's held, taking another little bit of tear and tape and putting it right over the top. And that one I'm leaving the backing on. Then I forgot to trim my lamp post. I know it's a little bit long, so I'm going to take off about 1/4 of an inch. Add some liquid glue down here. And adhere, remove my backings here. And place my lamp post on here. And this is going to go kind of like that. So pulling that to the back. Tear and tape back here. Removing that backing. Checking that it kind of goes where I want it to and pressing that backwards. And again, adding another tiny bit of tear and tape back here. And trimming this. Then I have my light bulbs and adding dimensionals to the back here. And that one I'm going to add, just trim off an edge here. Every bit of dimensional gets used at some point, and place that there. Then starting with the smallest one, remove the backing. And pull this down a little bit. And then the next biggest one. And the biggest one. So mimicking these light bulbs that are already on here. And this one I think I want to move over a little bit. And just tighten that string a little bit as needed. There, that looks a little better. And then I have the Wonderful Scenes add-on dies, and this word, wonderful. And I have some double-sided adhesive sheet here. So just placing it on this scrap. And then die cutting the word wonderful. So once you have that cut 3 times, then peel off the backing. And it pulls out any little things left behind. And stack it on another one. And repeat. And now to assemble our card. So again, let's reimburse with these fold lines. And then this diagonal score line, we're going to fold in this way as a mountain fold. Adhere this piece. Add some glue on this fold. You can use your bone folder to help press that down to adhere it flat. Add glue to this. And then we have this piece. And we're only going to adhere this to this bottom triangle. So I'm putting glue right up to the fold and then stopping short here because there is a border. And then the word wonderful can go on the front. Just remove that backing. And the last bit is to add our stopper. So I'm going to take some of the gems, and then this folds up to reveal those stars or sparkles. So I'm deciding where I want it to fall. I think maybe right about there. So adding a gem right there as a stopper. And putting another one in here. And one over here. And there you have it. A card that folds flat, will fit in the standard envelope, opens like this to write your message and reveal your message, and stands up for display. I made another version of this card using Blackberry Bliss as the base, cut the envelope, cut the card base from the kit, tied linen thread around, added a bow, and then I used a bunch of the lanterns from the kit. The sentiment was from the kit and stamped in Misty Moonlight. And I actually got a little ink blob down here, so I put another little lantern here. And then this one again, I put my stopper over here because of where that lantern was. And then my last version uses Daffodil Delight as the base. This bit from the envelope is embossed with a brand new embossing folder coming out in July called Swirls of Magic. I popped up the die cut fireworks from the kit, added my gems. This sentiment here actually says time to celebrate, but I stamped just the celebrate portion and then cut that out and adhered it. When you open this one, I stamped fireworks and the sparkles, And then I used dimensionals behind this partial firework that was also a die cut from the kit. So then this one stands up like that. Which one's your favorite?
Find written instructions over on my blog at... If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, share, and thanks for watching. Bye!